Welcome to Grateful Connections, What Gratitude Built, the podcast where women in business share the lessons, strategies, and gratitude behind their growth. Here's your host, Malinda, leading inspiring conversations that fuel your growth, spark gratitude, and remind you that you're not building your business alone.
Okay, so here I am. I am back with Kai Cox, and I am super excited because on our last conversation, I could have talked to you for, 10 more hours and just been digging and digging and digging because, I'm in a place where I just am personally starting this journey of really understanding some spiritual guidance and some, the women who I've met who are amazing intuitives. This is not second nature for me at all. I'm logical. I'm a thinker. I'm a planner. I'm an organizer. I just do. And so to me, to dive in and hear from you, Kai, about your spiritual guidance. And we literally at the tip talked a little bit about a spirit team. And I'm like, what is that? So I'm just excited to welcome Kai back to the Grateful Connections, What Gratitude Built podcast to dive in a little bit more. And what's going to be amazing is we're going to get some insight as to, I'm going to be super vulnerable here and let Kai do an official reading with my spirit team and whatever spiritual intuition that she's able to share with me. And I'm going to get to share it with you. So I'm super excited. Welcome back, Kai.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. And
Thank
I
you.
am already tapped into your team, and man, they are playful and fun.
Are they happy? They've got some news for me, huh? Yes. But I also have to say, since our call, I have to say, Kai, out of all the people I've talked to about their gratitude journeys and their gratitude practices and everything, I love yours so much. And I have literally every day I stand facing my backyard because I am backed up to this park. But with a walkway and people are walking with their dogs and everything. But every morning now when I open my curtains, I stand there and I look, and my backyard directly faces east. So I know that I'm supposed to be looking into the sun and enjoying all that. So I have been every day opening up the curtains and I stand there and I breathe into the beauty that I have in my backyard. And I literally am feeling all the things that I'm grateful for. So I'm insanely grateful for you for giving me that amazing tool because it's so intentional and it's something you do every day, right? You open the curtains, you get started with the day. So thank you. I think that's been very, very fun for me. And every time I get to think about you too, I'm like, this, Kai introduced me to this. So I love it. So
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
super excited.
that makes me so happy. And I just got chills. And I always say chills, right? So we have so much gratitude here. And while you're explaining your backyard, I'm like, oh, I face east as well. And I have my neighbors behind me don't maintain. So it almost looks like forest preserve. And I love it, right? It's this wall of green and the sun's popping through.
I love
I
that.
love that. Oh, that
Yeah.
just warms my heart so much that it
It
makes
did. You did. I love it because I want to have, obviously, I'm insanely grateful for so many things in my life and the connections I've made, hence the name Grateful Connections. But I have not always been so perfect at having a very specific gratitude practice. And that just makes it so easy. So thank you. And now that we get to do the 2.0, we get to dive even deeper into those amazing and fun things that you're an expert in. And you have such a special skill. And I can't wait. So yeah. So tell us what is going to happen. And again, with your intuitive readings, what's different or how does this even work for you? What do you do?
So I intentionally go by intuitive or intuitive energy reading because what we're focused on is the here and now. Plain and simple. What are we holding on? How do we get to the core of it? I say I'm connecting in to the collective energy to pick up on the things maybe you're starting to notice, bring them into full spotlight. Maybe the things that you're like, oh, I'm ready to let go of this, but how? I always like to bring in tangible things that we can do that feel doable, right? Someone
Okay.
could give you a reading and be like, okay, now you're going to go do these 9 things. And you're like, I'm so overwhelmed that I'm going to stay and freeze. And how does
Yeah. Right.
So I'm excited to see what your team has to come in. So what I do is I ask my ego to gently step to the side so that I can connect to my higher self, connect in with my higher team, my spirit team, so that my team can talk to your team. And I am the interpreter in this. So I want it to feel like a conversation. If you have questions, ask them. Sometimes things come up in a way where it's actually supposed to be your hard no. Like, this is my stop. This is not how I agree with it. And that gives you the clarity of, oh, maybe it's something I've been ruminating on. And she just said it, and I clearly knew no.
Right.
I have that clarity. So that's
Okay.
where I like to play because all our bodies, right? Our energetic, our emotional, our physical are holding messages. And oftentimes we've been telling those messages, no, not right now. I can't listen right now, or I'm not as intuitive. And that's just simply not true. You get to have the awarenesses and process through it together. And I get to be here as your greatest cheerleader because I'm connected to your spirit team, who is your greatest cheerleader.
That's amazing. I love that. I mean, it's so cool. But I love the way you explain it too, because I feel like you explaining how you can connect to your higher self to connect to my team, like that explains it. And I love that you're kind of simplifying that for us to understand how this whole thing works for you. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what we find out today.
Because I do that, it gives you the permission to do it yourself, right? You can connect to your higher self. That means you can, with permission and healthy boundaries, connect in and give readings or give messages. And we all actually do it, right? Whenever you have that idea that pops in, you're like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm supposed to tell my best friend, right?
Yeah.
We're doing it is connection. So your team's like, ooh, let's go.
I'm sure they have a lot to say.
Yes. So we're gonna jump off with and if you notice me moving, it's because I'm talking to different spirits, right? So just
Okay.
bear with me.
No, I love it.
I'm gonna jump in with the card I pulled right before we jumped on. And I mean, no need to say more, right? So this is the groundhog spirit. It says time
Okay.
to let go.
Time to let go. Okay.
So, what's coming through in this card is really jumping out that this groundhog is holding a heart. It is close, it's holding it in, and it's saying, right? It's over its mouth and its throat and its heart, where it's saying, I already know my truth. So, how am I going to trust myself to know what to do next? Part of it is this feeling of like this dread or doubt, like, can I actually do this? Well, if you got
Totally.
to decide that you can do this, how would you do it? Would you keep holding on to those things that aren't serving? Or would you be like, I believe in myself and I'm going to take that action?
Obviously, I would love to find, that strength or that confidence to say gut is right. But I definitely have experienced many, many self doubts, right?
Mhm.
Everything's scary, making new changes, is what I'm creating what people want? And, am I going to do it the right way? And am I valuable? And all those things. I would love to just drop in and go like, "Oh, of course I have all the confidence in the world." I don't know that we all could just like throw it down and forget about it, but I would love to be able to do more of that for sure.
So I pulled another card and I'll show it in a second. But the overall theme between the two is we're asking for more yellows and oranges. So we're standing in our power and being creative there. So an invitation is to start seeing yourself in this golden, orange, glowing orb. Okay. I want you to be in that like bubble or sphere, however it resonates with you, so that you can truly feel I've got this, right? There is no more questioning. So, what if we radically decided that I went through this journey of self doubt so that I could be on the other side and speak and connect to people that way? And if that happened to be the case, then don't I get to decide when? So, it's all in your hands. And the card we pulled is the snake spirit. And so often people are like, ooh, snakes, that's scary. We're ingrained to think snakes are scary. But no, not anymore. We're releasing that. So the idea in this, which I absolutely love this deck of cards, it's one of my favorites, is it's time to heal. So how do we make space for healing to bring in that self awareness of, I am pure love. What I'm bringing to the world is absolutely pure love because it is me brought forth to the world, right? So instead of going the normal route of like, what sacrifices would I have to make if I tomorrow woke up and said, I'm leaving what no longer serves, right? Well, instead of going there, we're not going to go there. We're going to focus on, okay, what is my spirit speaking for? What am I seeking for in my soul, my body, as far as healing? Okay. And one of the biggest invitations for you right now is to see yourself as healed. Okay. So that there isn't like, oh, I have to go through this process. No, you don't have to do anything. We get to call in the snake that effortlessly glides on any surface, right? The snake just moves with such wisdom that we don't have to have our guard up anymore. We don't have to be in cobra, like, oh, I have
Okay.
to defend what I'm doing. No, no more. Absolutely no more. So you have this bubbly spirit guide that's like, hey, here's the invitation, connect with me more. It's this fun bubbly energy, and if you were to like lay down or sit in meditation and just feel that like giggly bubbly self, right, you know that's who you are. You embody
Yeah.
it easily, and it's so
Yeah.
nice that you have a spirit guide that's on that same wow, why are you guys not letting me say that, same thing.
Wavelength.
Okay, so it's a little bit different, I get it, but right, we're not saying this is you in spirit form. We're saying, hey, I want all decisions going forward being made from that idea of this is love, this is gratitude, and it's fun and it's
Uh,
playful. It doesn't have to be painful,
yeah.
right? There is no
I
snake
love
bite.
that.
I mean, there's no fear. We're not invoking any fear that anything will go wrong in this.
Okay.
So if we step back and look at that in the bigger picture a little bit, that's saying there is no exact right time to do this, but that also means there's no wrong time to fully commit to you. So we could even start wearing more yellow, right? We could start
Okay.
having that boost of I know who I am and I know exactly what I'm doing. They're talking about traveling coming up, and I feel like clarity is going to come in. It's going to be like, oh, that's how it feels. This is what I
That's going to
so
be interesting.
if we decided I don't know if you directly wanna say the thing you're releasing.
Well, I can because it is what it is, right? I mean, yes, I think I've made it clear to definitely a lot of people. I mean, I've wanted to work for myself my whole adult life. And so this, working in a corporate job has kept me responsible like I've had to be as a single mom and going through divorce and managing my life. And it's got me to this point, but it is time for me to not serve big corporate businesses and to really truly connect with and support and make an impact for other women. Like that is what my soul genuinely needs and wants. So I am,
So there are
yes.
3 things in what you just said that they're like, "Ooh, that, pin that, pin that." But the first one we wanna go to is we don't wanna set a limitation here of, "I'm not serving corporate." So that gives me the glimpse that, right, maybe Grateful Connections will be in that scale, right? We're not limiting it, so why
No.
should
Right. I guess I mean corporate as though corporate, which serves the stock market, right? And so no, I'm great. I would be absolutely fine if Grateful Connections turned into this big massive thing and it was serving me and other women, So yes, I totally love that.
So let's see if they'll bring up the pins because they're like, "Oh, we have so many places we wanna jump." I wanna step back because so many spirits are speaking at once. Do you have any questions that we're looking to be answered? It's like, "Ooh, ooh, me, me."
No, I'm just okay. So explain since we want to kind of break this down, for listeners too. So what are you saying that what is a spirit team, right? Or like what are the different angles that you're getting? What are you receiving right now?
So I'm talking to your spirit team that is not necessarily people that you've connected in the physical realm with, but you have signed up for their guidance to be a part of I mean, team seems redundant, right? But it is your team. So these are spirits that have an understanding of what it's like to be human, but it's not necessarily saying it has to be someone you've known, right?
Okay.
So I laugh because I pulled this card where it says gifts, right? So taking
Okay.
time for yourself, making space for yourself, that's going to be part of the healing process. But I laughed because the very first thing on the back of this card is deep gratitude. Okay. So if we came from the thought form of and the feeling, we want to really feel into this. Okay, it's my time to let go. How does that feel? Right? If we can hold on They're kinda like showing me, like, on a train or, like, a bus where you're, like, holding on, right? And
Oh,
instead of,
yeah.
like, gripping for dear life, like, just kinda casually being there and being like, "Okay, we're coming to a stop, but I have my stable foundation. I'm ready to go." So when
Yeah.
you feel like that, when you feel like you have your stable foundation, there's the invitation. "Okay, let go. Get off the train."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, another way to bring this into existence because it's there. It's if you believe time isn't linear and everything's already happened, that means you being fully committed into grateful connections already exists, right? So how quickly are you going to realize that it's already happening? So one way we're also inviting, so we talked about the yellows, but we also want more teals. We want clear throat chakra, communicating what you do in such ease that it just sparks. And that is in the creative dream state. So how often are you making space to couple minutes, couple seconds, go in your mind's eye to see what this actually looks like in that playful form?
Not very much. I think like what we talked about, I am just exploring and realizing a number of other people who are obviously way more open to spiritual guidance and, those kinds of things. And it was never intentional that I wasn't, but I was so focused on just living life and existing and plugging through and like not really even focusing on me. So this is all very new to me to really try to understand what else is out there besides me just plugging away.
Mhm,
So, and like we had talked about, I have a very hard time visualizing things or experiencing something that isn't tangible and active in my life right now.
mhm,
So to imagine like sitting there being playful or thinking about things that are playful that I don't really my mind doesn't automatically go there, right? Without like some direction or some guidance on what that could look like or what I should do. Cause I don't know. I've never really done that. I mean, I do try to meditate. I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means, but a lot of times if I do meditate, it's a guided meditation, just
mhm.
listening to like the Calm app and, listening to somebody talk about gratitude or talking about different things. I don't know if you want to give me some direction on how I could be more in tune with that. I would very much welcome that and love some ideas.
Absolutely. So they're showing me like a bypass, right? So instead of saying like I visualizing, right, your success, we want to be feeling into it. What does it wake up to feel into this idea? I wake up, I set my own pace. What does that actually feel like for you?
Mm,
Right? Not having this to-do list for serving someone else. I get to do all of this for
yes.
me because it serves the greater good of what I am doing. And the invitation is there
Yes.
to connect more to breath. Okay, so how does my breath feel right now? Knowing that I have these two weights, right? There's these two elements at play. How expansive does my breath feel in this moment? Okay. And then how does it feel? Can I become a little bit more expanded in this? I've let go of the corporate. And how does my breath feel? Because right
Okay.
now it feels more constricted. Okay, then that's the invitation to do more healing, have more space. If it feels like, oh, I can finally breathe, then it's time.
Interesting.
Right? So the number 31, that's what this card is. 31 is really speaking to me, not playing into the idea of future play, but I would take note of that number. Does it resonate
Okay.
with me right now? Is it talking about a certain time? Do you connect in currently to the number 31?
Nothing pops into my mind necessarily. Um,
So
I
this
mean,
is
obviously it's a number of a month, there's numbers of days in a month, but even so I guess October 31st, there's a 31 there, but nothing like stands out to me personally.
okay. So that's what's really exciting because in different traditions, the end of this month is actually the new year, right?
Okay.
So there's so many different New Years. There's the Jewish New Year's, there's the Gregorian calendar New Year, there's the astrology New Year, and in the witch tradition, October is where we see the new. So we're going into the dark of winter, seeing what we want to create. So then in spring, we can actually plant those seeds. And in summer, we can see them come into life. And then fall is when we harvest.
Okay.
So it's an exciting time to be like, how much more do how much do I have in store for this winter to really
Yes.
just feed and nourish my soul?
Yes.
Yes.
I can see that.
So the practices we want to implement right now are what and who am I grateful for, right? So you already have that they're saying as a tradition. That's so interesting of the gratitude practices, but also maybe there's something even more we can expand for. So maybe we're currently saying like what we are, and it's time to say who we're grateful for.
Okay.
I am so grateful for this journey I've been on as a single mother, as a corporate leader, that I can step in and be a leader of entrepreneurs, be a leader of these women making a splash, making a difference. I am seeing this idea. If it speaks to you, there's never force here. But the things that we're carrying that feel like they just no longer serve, we're making a list of them and we're burning it,
Okay.
especially on this, right? That
Okay.
and this is also a real it's of course, this divinely worked exactly how it's supposed to because our recording, this 2.0, was for later on, and Spirit was like, "No, no, let's
Yeah.
for the full moon." Right? What a beautiful time to be like, "Hey, I don't have to carry this baggage anymore." How healing, how much expanded breath can I bring in by just simply letting it down? And knowing that we have the decision because in my life, there have been times where I've heard intuition, spirit be like, hey, it's time to let this go. And I force through, and that's possible, right? And that
Yeah.
also led to door slamming. And that's a way you can do it. And oh, they just grabbed my throat. Like, right? That, like, oh, it's hard to swallow. Do we want to go through that? It doesn't matter. There is no wrong or right in anything we do. It's just simply, how can I be present right now? How does that make my soul sing so that I can communicate what I actually want? So there are still pieces that are being arranged to make this puzzle complete,
Yeah.
and that is part of the healing process. So the biggest thing we get to do as humans, as far as what I've seen, well, be towards the vibration of love. It's one of the highest we can be in, right? Constant, pure love. And also releasing the story so it's not holding us back and realizing we're the creator. So you created this bind, they're saying it, right? Being in this position where it's getting in the way of things because you know what your soul wants to be doing. And we can have the awareness, okay, I created that. So that means I can also let things lie exactly where they're supposed to be instead of door slamming.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So there's something about the stomach going on right now. Like they're taking my stomach and just kind of like squeezing it. So it feels like there is this like limit, this block, and it's like, "Oh, come on, just let go." And that's the invitation to how creative can I get with this? How can I make more space for creativity
Mm.
in that playful? Mhm. I almost want to say their name's Larry, but
Okay.
I never necessarily like to give names of spirit teams to people because I think that's something that you get to do for yourself, right? Sit down. Hey, I would say, I'm Kai. It's so nice to meet you. I'd love to get to know you, just like you would do with a friend, right? Just so like you would know
Okay.
her. Do that with your spirit team. Stepping back a little bit more and talking more to the spirit team. Everyone has one. Every single person has a spirit team. And there are endless people here helping you. Okay. So one of my favorites is runners. I got this from my mentor, Sonia Chiquette, and I absolutely love it because it's the idea of I come from gratitude, I ask for what I want, and they go forward and make it in my path easily. So,
Okay.
and this might be something that you implement because it is that gratitude, right? So if I'm driving somewhere and I want a parking spot, I'll say, "Hey, runners, please go ahead, make this journey to my location as easy and as possible. And then I would like a parking spot as close to the front door as possible. And I love you. I thank you so much for going ahead and doing this for me." And you can just play there. And oftentimes when I tell people about this, they're like, "Well, I don't want to do it too often because I don't want to be too demanding." No.
Right.
You can do it as often as you want. They're also really good at helping find things. I once lost my
Okay.
phone, and it was my, like, first test of, like, can I trust, right? So I lost
Okay.
my phone, it was nighttime. If you've ever gone, like, 12, 24 hours without a phone in today's society, it's kind of
Yeah.
difficult,
It's
right?
scary. Well, and you're nervous, like, well, where,
Right.
what am I missing? Or am I
Yes,
really gonna find it? My whole life is in that thing, right?
exactly, and if
Yeah.
you're working for yourself and that's how clients connect with you, that's a
Right.
whole 'nother level, right? So I was searching for it, and I was doing it through I have to find this, I have to find this. And then I stepped back. This was back when I was living in Niles, so about 6 years ago. And I stepped back and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna trust that my runners can really do this for me. I understand there's for whatever reason I'm not supposed to have it right now, and that's fine. Runners, can you please make it accessible for me?" And I think I went to bed. I woke up and I had this idea, go look in the closet. So I
Okay.
right, open it, and it's, like, right there, right in front of my face. And I was like, "That is wild. Like, how is that even possible?" Right? And it's funny because then go forward a couple months, and I'm cleaning out that closet, and it was a house we were renting, someone else owned it, right? And this book falls out, The Art of Teaching. So they were trying to get me there, right? And it
Okay.
really comes out and hits me on my head, and I'm like, "Oh, well, there's something to this," right? And I stepped
Yeah.
into that role of teacher instructor, right? So there was so much at play there. But the most important thing was I was grateful because I knew my runners did that for me.
Wow.
So that's one element of
Okay.
our team, right? If you were to imagine that you have thousands of these spirits, you can picture them as normal humans if you want. You can picture them as aliens. You can play with this as much as you want. I once was part of this retreat, and the woman's like, "I have a sparkly unicorn." I'm like, "Yes, run with that." Like, let's go.
Love it.
One of my absolute favorites. But it can be anything you want. But I want you to envision that you have thousands of these beautiful spirits waiting and willing to help you. So start the communication. And some of these spirits have been with you since birth, and you can keep connecting with you and keep connecting with them and having that awareness. And some come in for an exact task. So I would invite you to explore this giggly person that I'm calling Larry. You get to decide, which I'm seeing red and white stripes with them. So
Okay.
to explore, you can have the conversation. Are you here to come in for this? They're saying it's like a bent fork in your journey, right? It's not a fork in the road. It's like, "Hey, we could go on either. Nope, we're going this way."
Okay.
And just connect in there, have that conversation because there is no you're more intuitive than me or you're more that connected to me. No, I go to the spiritual gym and I connect in as often as possible. I wake up every morning and say, with ease, right? If I forget, there's no shame. Spirit move me today for my highest good and my highest good only, so that I'm starting the communication. I turn off
Okay.
my light at night, my communication, my light. I have sitting next to me this beautiful Tiffany pulled cord lamp that a dear client of mine gave to me. And that's what I envision. I turn off my light because during night, I'm about healing. I'm not receiving messages that will like wake me up and be in conversation, right? So I'm turning off my light at night so that I
Yeah.
can have this space of healing. But then I'm also making it very clear to my team that I'm communicating with them throughout the whole day.
Okay.
And if you're looking for ways to be more connected, ask. Simply ask. Your team's here. "Hey, spirit team, is there a way I can connect in more?" I can't remember if last time we talked about all walks, but that's one of the best ways.
What's that?
So an all walk is simply saying, "Hey team,"
Like all ALL, all
awe.
walk?
Like, awe. I want to be in awe.
Okay.
right?
Got you.
Or
Yep.
like, I want to be amazed. I want to see the magic, whatever resonates with you. There's no right or wrong. But take me on this walk. I might be doing the same path I do every single day, or how often you actually go on walks, but I want to see something today that just grabs my attention. And I know it's a gift for my soul to just see it. So you might walk past the same tree every day and see it from an angle where you're just like, that's amazing. Or a flower
Yeah.
blooming and it seems like it's just for you, because those are actual gifts. And if you're like, I want to go a step further, I want to see actual gifts in my path. Okay, awesome. Ask your team for that. Ask them to put pennies in your path, put pebbles, feathers, whatever you connect into in rhythm, right? Things will come in. You'll be getting like a penny every single day and then it will stop. And then maybe it's numbers on the clock, or then it's feathers everywhere, birds flying around you. These are all ways we connect to our spirit team. You
I
get to
love
be a
that.
part of the conversation, right? So being a part of the conversation means I have the awareness. I have
Yeah.
space for the awareness and I have the awareness.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Taking moments of gratitude or sitting down and really asking for that guidance, right? Because I'm normally one that just plugs through the day. I just task, 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 do. And I don't, sit down and request that interaction. Obviously, this is what you do for a living. So I know you're right. But it is such great advice, especially thinking like that you're an intuitive and I'm not. Uh, but just that gift that you gave to me that says, open up your mind and give time to myself. And through that meditation, literally asking for some direction or some guidance or some visions, I think is a really great way to now start implementing another Kai movement in my life. So I think that's amazing.
I love that you said movement. That makes me so happy, because if at any time you're feeling stuck, get up and move through it energetically,
Yeah.
right? That can look like processing through tears. That's how we connect to our emotions. Cry, right? You
Yeah, I can't cry. Nope. I mean, I said to my husband, it was like a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, I am so angry and so stressed and so I don't know what. If I could ugly cry, I would be doing that right now. And there's like no tears. I'm like, I am as stressed and I feel like I am going to explode in my body and nothing comes out. So it's just, I don't know what it is. Not a crier. Never have been. I've never even seen the movie The Notebook because I don't wanna cry. Like, I know it's a tearjerker, and so I've purposely have not even watched that movie because I know it's gonna make me cry. But I know. I
So
should do it.
that's the invitation, right? Time to heal. Okay, do I want to process through this? If we can open the door once to feeling those emotions, it's most likely going to keep the door open, which is very exciting, right? So even me taking water right now, that was a sign. How's our water intake, right? Are we nourishing the water that we are, right? Those emotions. Because right now, yes, we go from task to task to task. And is that the life we want to continue living? Is that how we want grateful connections to feel?
Right, no.
Right?
Absolutely. No, it's all about, like, love and invitation and collaboration and connection and, all of those things, like, very positive and encouraging and supportive emotion, for sure.
And okay, so they're like making the right side of my head just like light up. And the idea of like connecting to left. Are you left handed?
I am not. I'm right-handed.
Okay. So to get yourself out of the comfort zone, I think we want you to either like doodle, paint something that gets creativity flowing, and try it with the left hand. And it's going to feel so awkward and so like, what am I doing here? Right?
Yeah.
That when we go back to our normal like right hand, it's going to feel, oh, well, I can do this. If I could do that, I could do this.
Yeah.
And feeling through that process, like having the awareness, okay, this feels awkward. Having that conversation in our bodies, okay, you're showing me that like it's hard to move this way. Thank you for that message, right? It's the gratitude that comes with having the awareness of the messages that we're receiving, because we're constantly receiving messages. We are
Okay.
receiving so much messages that so often people numb. I
Well,
went
right,
through
'cause
a
you
numb experience. I also
sure.
through it. I was so depressed. that I could barely get out of bed in or college. And then I was like, life shouldn't be this way, so that I could reawaken to what I'm meant to do. And then I followed my intuition. We all get to do that. So breathing into it, reconnecting to it, having those awarenesses, that's how we start. Because if you're
Yeah,
sitting
it's
there and you're like,
beautiful.
I want to follow my intuition, it's like, what the heck is the first step?
Right, right. You have to actually be open to paying attention to it too,
Right. So for
right?
you, it feels like, okay, I just completed that task. Is this something I want to bring forward with me? Like getting really clear on it.
Love
And
that.
then
Yeah,
not apologizing for knowing what you want.
yeah.
My business recently went through restructuring where I was like, for 14 years, I was like, oh, I kind of get paid to think, right? Because if you do like a standard Swedish massage or deep tissue massage, there's not much conversation going on. I'm communicating with the cells. They normally don't want to hear that. So I'm just like being paid to think. Well, I just recently was like, I don't want to go through that anymore. So I took it off my website. It's gone. And I'm not
Okay.
apologizing for it.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, the unthinkable, which me as a massage therapist, that seems wild and unheard of. And I'm like, I'm not apologizing. So, like, I wonder what's in there. That story it came up for a reason of there are things we can start letting go of right now as this healing process, as this letting go of what doesn't serve your highest good, so that we can make space for the things that do serve your highest good.
I'll have to think about that one. But yes,
I hope you feel about that one. Feel
feel
through
about
it.
these.
Get the mind
Yes.
out of here. The mind will trigger the ego who will say, nah, let's stay small. Let's do this
Yes.
thing the way we've always known. No, I want to feel through this. What does it feel like to just have this presence of, I know exactly what I'm doing? What does that feel like in your body?
I mean, I feel like when I am feeling about what is my goal and my mission and my passion, it is like literally in my heart. Like that's where I feel my drive or like my intuition.
Right. So, how much time, I like to say divine awareness, right? But people are like, what is that? How much awareness are you bringing to, okay, if this is coming from my heart, I'm making space to be speaking from the heart, right? And what does that look like? Hey, writing a journal. My heart, if I wasn't afraid, I would. My heart is leading me to, or grabbing your phone, recording. If I wasn't afraid, I would. And then just letting your soul speak, right? So that your heart is engaged. You're really feeling through this because that's how you bring in the clarity.
Yeah, I agree. It has even just, again, just this short amount of time hearing from people who are like you and, some others who are just more like light years ahead of me in this process.
Sorry, they're doing like the bullshit button.
Oh my God, I love that.
Like, no, you might bring different elements to the table, but we're all sitting at the same table.
So I think I might have told you this in the last call, but maybe not. But I feel like, again, when I was married, I describe it as though I was in a 20-year nap.
Mm-hmm.
That is how I felt. And I didn't know that at the time because I'm a happy go lucky, easygoing person. And so I just thought that that was what life was like. And I think I manifested that environment because I really wanted to be a woman in charge and I wanted to be responsible and I didn't want to answer to a man and like all these things. So I unintentionally manifested a relationship that really put me in the power of I'm in charge of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're in that state, it was 100% just like the hamster wheel, just in existence. And taking time to actually think and follow and breathe and follow my heart. Like I had 20 years where that was not even, I wouldn't say it wasn't an option, but I didn't know it was an option.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just in this reactive mode. And so I understand what you're saying that we're all at the table and we all have skills and all those things. But unless you even know it exists or that there is this opportunity to drive through this process, this is where I'm at right now in this journey of being curious and learning from people who, again, I feel as though they're light years ahead of me in their spiritual awareness and guidance because I'm just awakening to what more is out there. Like life isn't just this thing that we're plugging through, that there are purposes and that there are things. I've heard from many of, the spiritual guidance and leader people is, when you are feeling from the heart, right? Like me knowing that this community and helping women in business, it's like I don't have a choice. No matter how many times I quote unquote fail, or then it's just a pivot. And so to me, just from these conversations, there's a reason for that, right? Because that is what I'm meant to do. And it is what I'm being called for. But it took me a journey to get here and
Beautiful.
figure it out.
In your terms of like years ahead, we want to point out the idea that like you already have the awareness that you manifested that relationship, right? If we have the awareness, we're manifesting every single element of our life. So oftentimes people are like, oh, well, I'm manifesting the good, labeled good, right? Because we're the one that applies the judgment of good or bad. There is just is, and we apply judgment. But if you already have the awareness that you manifested that, right? You're light years ahead of someone that's like, oh, this is happening to me. No, 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 no. Not happening. It's happening for you.
Right.
So, what now is happening for you? So, the job that you get to release is happening for you as this. Guess what I did? Guess how I felt? And if you were to play in this energy of like, I'm quitting tomorrow, what thoughts, asking ego to step to the side, of pure divine love come in?
I don't know. Say that again. Because you just sent me into a panic spin, but okay.
Okay, let's get let's take a nice deep belly breath, breathe into that, our connection to source, right? Breathing in, you can see the golden light coming through to your stomach, your connect in that moment, in this moment right now. I am quitting my job tomorrow. What pops in?
Panic.
That's so interesting because I heard this, like, underlying voice of sweet release.
Yeah, it all comes down. And this is again, I know I live in my head. I know that I'm a logical person. And I feel like I need, like you mentioned it a little earlier, um, which I'm not there yet, is I feel like I want to see progress happening first,
Mhm.
right? Because as of today, I have still not really made any money on Grateful Connections, right? Like it's all just been a wash. It's a lot of my time. I've spent way, way, way more money than I've received. So when I say like quitting tomorrow sends a panic in me, well, I don't have revenue coming in today. And so it sends me to like, well, I got to have money.
Right. I
And
gotta have proof.
yes, I have to have proof. And I'm not where I feel like I have proof yet.
Right.
So putting all my faith into, well, just because this is my soul saying this is what I should do, it's all going to be okay. Like there's no guarantee, right? And
Well,
so
if we take your own words that I manifested, right? I manifested that experience. And there's been a few times where you mentioned like it's gonna fail. Okay, if we keep saying that either internally, externally, or we're gonna manifest that, right? While
yes,
you were talking then, they grabbed my like inner ear to the point where I had to wince in pain on my left
I
side.
saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, right. So there is a message that is coming through from the divine feminine. Wow, divine.
I got you.
Yeah, I know that we are simply blocking, and that's okay. There's no judgment there, right? You get to decide when you want to hear, when I want to hear clearly. And it was so intense that it made me feel dizzy and like I have to sit down and stop because, and have the conversation. If that's happening, do you currently get like dizzy spells or like where you're just feeling, okay, good, because that would be very intense.
Yeah.
I am open to all messages that serve my highest good and see what comes in. And a really great way to speak past ego is if I wasn't afraid, I would. Okay.
Yes.
A
So what do I
really
do with that? Just say that 5,000 times a day?
say it when it comes up. I really see you like grabbing your phone and recording it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if you're the type that likes to turn to writing. So maybe that's getting out of your comfort zone, but I really want you to start. speaking it into existence. If I wasn't
Love that.
afraid, I would quit. If I wasn't afraid, I would work with this person. If I wasn't afraid, I would. And it doesn't have to make logical sense yet in
Right.
order, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we get the idea I would quit, but here's the next 5 things coming up that leads us to the quitting, right? Okay, that's better. I'm like, I need my ear.
You can have it back. And I know you have to go.
In that, so just speaking through anyone watching this, so one of my greatest clear senses is the feeling, like embodying feelings so that I can interpret those messages. And if you're getting that without the knowing that you're doing this, you're probably coming up as you say, like you're empathic, you pick up on other people's stuff, but it's not really serving your highest good. So you're exhausted. So have the awareness, connect into your clear senses.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what else do you have to say to wrap this up? I know you have to go. What advice would you give based on this conversation, both to me and to anybody else who's listening?
So definitely take action because we want to pick up on the messages when they're soft, gentle messages. The screams are when it becomes a chronic illness, a discomfort in our body, right? If I was to hold on to this pit like this, it's not even a pit, it's like a clenching of my stomach, that would turn into its own thing. Um, So feel through those. And if you're doing this without the awareness that you're doing this, if you're carrying everyone else's garbage, I call it playing in the muck, right? If you're
Okay.
carrying that, here's the invitation that you don't have to. Find someone that you trust and can learn to love yourself again by interpreting the messages and letting them go. Just because we have a message come up doesn't mean we have to turn it into this boulder that we carry on our back for the rest of our lives, right? Me talking about my depression does not make me feel anything because I've let go of that story. And it's just simply a way I can say, hey, this is what happened so that I could be on the other side with the awarenesses.
Well, Kai, I am so grateful for this time for sure. I love my new mantra of like speaking into my phone and saying if I wasn't afraid, I would. I'm going to embody that a lot, just like I do with my other grateful thing that you shared with me. So I appreciate you. And I am truly and insanely grateful to have you in my circle, to have met you, and to continue to cheer you on. And I know you always cheer me on as well. So thank you for this, because I think this is really fascinating. And I think people are really going to enjoy hearing our story. So
Yay.
thank
I'm
you.
so grateful. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, I will see you soon, my friend. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. You can find me at gratefulconnections.com, join our private Facebook group, Grateful Connections, and follow me on Instagram at gratefulconnections_co. Sharing is an act of gratitude, so please pass this along to another woman in business who inspires you.
Welcome to Grateful Connections, What Gratitude Built, the podcast where women in business share the lessons, strategies, and gratitude behind their growth. Here's your host, Malinda, leading inspiring conversations that fuel your growth, spark gratitude, and remind you that you're not building your business alone.